friends, on the sawmill right now we got this hemlock. This is the one we started in the last video. It's about 10.5 inches wide. We'll be sawing this into 5/4 boards. This should go pretty fast. I've got a nice blade set up on the mill. That's a 4-degree Wood-Mizer double hard blade down there. This timber is not too bad. Got a decent amount of knots on it, more than I want to see, but that's part of it sometimes, friends. Over here in the loading arms, we got a white pine we'll put on there next. It's an 8-footer. We'll probably do 5/4 boards on it also. A lot of knot clusters, but a decent face right there to saw from. See how that goes. And then we'll jump in the tractor and bring over a big tulip poplar. Fast, let me point out something that I did wrong here. This is a rookie mistake. This white pine's 8.5 feet long, and it should be about 2 feet that way right there toward the operator's side. That's a terrible miscalculation on bringing this timber in here, guys. You want that clamp right here in the middle, about, right there in the middle of the timber, about 4 feet up. That looks awful right there. I'll still saw it. I ain't got time to fool with it right now to take it off and move it around, but that's ridiculous right there. If this timber had a lot of taper in it, and I was going to rely on my toe boards to get the taper out, I'd really be hurting right now. I'd have to take it back off and bring the tractor up here and shift it down about 2 feet. I just want to share with you guys that not everything turns out the way you want it every time, and people make mistakes. So, that's the way it goes. Not a bad log. We'll do 5/4 boards. We'll knock it out real fast, and then we'll go get that tulip poplar. That's ridiculous right there. Can't believe I did that. Alright friends, we got that pine done. Move on to some hardwoods finally. Well, kinda. Poplar's not too hard though. This is a 9-footer, it's tulip poplar. The diameter is about 24 inches. Based on the scales that I use, it looks like this timber weighs about 1,200 pounds. So this tractor should have no problem with it. The TYM, the weight capacity on the front end loader is 2,800 pounds. And the forks don't weigh that much at all, maybe 150 or 200, so we should have no trouble picking up this timber here. So we'll get the tractor fired up and take it over to the mill and start sawing. And this was harvested about a month ago, and check out the end grain right there. We got a large check going right there through the middle, and I anchor sealed this stuff. That just shows you sometimes anchor sealing doesn't work as good as you think it would. Of course, it could be worse if I didn't anchor seal it. You'll never know, but sometimes that still happens. We'll probably saw with that crack right there to reduce waste. So let's fire up the tractor, friends, and get this thing moved. Friends, that was a pretty heavy log. The tractor had no trouble getting it up in the air though. This is going to be a fun one to saw, friends. It's about 8.5 feet long. The diameter is 24 inches on both ends. I don't think there's any taper in this tree. And tulip poplar is always a fun tree to get a hold of because, a little bit of a rock right there in the bark, because poplar grows nice and straight with tall canopies. And your first 3 or 4 logs in a poplar tree, that depends upon also how long you cut them, are always nice and clear. There's a few small knots on this side right here. Might be some of the juvenile wood, can't do nothing about that, but for the most part, it looks pretty nice. We're going to be sawing these into 9.5 inch wide, 1 7/8 inches on the thickness. And these are going to be going to the Axe House in downtown Kingsport for axe targets. The guy down there had used cottonwood in the past. He's having trouble finding it. He don't like going all the way to Kentucky to get it. So now he's using poplar. So we'll probably get about 200 and maybe 220, 230 board feet out of this timber. And this should go pretty fast, guys. We're still running that 4-degree double hard Wood-Mizer blade. It's getting a little dull. That last cut on that pine, that one knot was kind of seaming just a little bit. I think I'm getting a little bit on the dull side, but poplar's not that hard. It's classified as a hardwood, but it's pretty soft. I think we'll be able to go through here pretty fast and maybe at least get this thing squared up before we put a fresh blade on there. We'll see how it's running. So stick with us, guys. Tulip poplar on the sawmill, nice straight log.